The story starts off with a boy named Hibiki, who is running for his life through an empty valley while being chased by a horned rabbit. He has no idea how he ended up in this situation or what is even chasing him, so the whole thing feels completely out of nowhere to him. He wonders to himself what kind of creature that is, and then suddenly hears a soft female voice that looks the creature up and tells him it is a level 1 horned rabbit. He has no idea what the voice is, but he tells it not to go anywhere because he is scared. The rabbit suddenly leaps at him, but he manages to dodge out of the way and lands on top of it, crushing it to death. Meanwhile, deep in the forest, an elf girl is seen making her way through the trees when an unknown male voice guides her path, telling her to keep heading east because there is something very precious waiting for her there. Meanwhile, Hibiki is relieved that he made it through the horned rabbit attack, but he still has no idea where he is or what that voice was. On top of that, he checks his phone and sees he has no signal at all, which kills any hope of calling for help. Just to keep himself from losing his mind, he decides that the voice was not real and he was simply hearing things. He starts to feel a little hungry and thinks about eating the horned rabbit, but quickly talks himself out of it since he has no idea whether it is even safe to eat. The voice then speaks up and looks over the body, letting Hibiki know that the horned rabbit is actually a graded delicacy that goes great in stews. Hearing that, he decides he will just take it with him for now, even if the idea still grosses him out a little. He starts to think more about this strange voice and notices that it only seems to speak up when he asks something, so he starts testing it out by asking about random things like his backpack. The voice responds that it's a bag made of materials that do not exist in this world. He continues asking with different things, and the voice responds each time with a clear and accurate breakdown of whatever he asks about. Realizing this, Hibiki wonders if the voice can look him up too, so he asks, and a screen appears in front of him showing all his stats. He looks through everything and sees that details like his name and age are all correct, but what throws him off is that it lists his job as appraiser provisional, which makes no sense to him since up until now he was just living the normal life of a high school student. He then speaks up and asks the voice who she is, and she replies telling him she is his status support, but that she is not able to share anything that counts as personal information. Hibiki does not think that sounds fair at all, but what lifts his spirits a little is seeing just how many skills there are for him to learn. He thinks the expert skill sounds interesting and tries to use it right away, but nothing happens. He then decides he will just start the tutorial since that seems easier, but the voice speaks up and tells him the tutorial is already running. Hibiki has no idea what she means by that, so he just moves on and tries out the world map skill, which brings up a holographic display in front of him. He takes a good look at it and realizes it is not actually a map. It is just tracing the path he has already taken. This is when he figures out that he has been walking in circles the whole time. With that cleared up, he uses it to guide himself and keeps moving. By sundown, he spots a road below him, but he gets a little too excited and trips, landing face first on the stone path. As he sits up, the voice announces that he has just earned the title Castaway in an Ice Sky. Hibiki is thrown off by that, but he quickly realizes he has bigger things to worry about as a giant monster towers over him. He thinks it is all over, but then a magic arrow shoots in out of nowhere and drops it instantly. He looks over in shock and sees it was the work of an elf girl standing on a rock nearby. Just before he makes contact with the girl, the voice activates his speech so that he can speak and understand the language of this world. After Hibiki thanks her for saving him, she introduces herself as Emilia. Hibiki takes one look at her ears and figures she looks like an elf, so he tells her he really likes her cosplay. Emilia has no idea what he is talking about. She then asks him what he was doing out in the Maze Eater's grassland, and Hibiki just explains that he sort of appeared there out of nowhere, which leaves her stunned. The voice then runs a full appraisal on Emilia, and Hibiki is shocked to find out she is a real elf. He looks through her stats a bit more, and what surprises him even more is that she is actually 56 years old. Emilia explains to him that the Maze Eater grassland is actually a monster that disguises itself as an open field. It does not attack directly, but simply waits for its prey to wear itself out from wandering around lost, and then consumes it. Hearing that makes Hibiki realizes just how close he came to being eaten. Emilia then pulls Hibiki into a hug and tells him he held up pretty well for a young boy. She does this because she thinks he is about 10 years old, but when he tells her he is 16, she immediately lets go and says she had no idea someone his age could be in such a small body. Night falls shortly after, and they set up camp, where Hibiki learns that in this world, you are considered an adult the moment you turn 15. After finishing off the horned rabbit for dinner, Hibiki asks Emilia where exactly they are. She immediately spits her tea straight into his face at hearing such a question. She then wipes his face while apologizing and tells him they are in the kingdom of Habrastia. Hibiki tells her he would not know that because he comes all the way from Japan, but she has never heard of it, which only confirms to him that this really is another world. Emilia figures he must be feeling lonely being so far from home, so she tells him she will take him to the city tomorrow, and Hibiki is grateful for that. As Hibiki sleeps, Emilia watches him and comes to the conclusion that he must be the precious thing the spirit told her about, and shortly after that she drifts off to sleep as well. Hibiki begins to dream about his past life and recalls a warm memory with his three closest friends, Amane, Kyoyuko, and Teiki, at the diner where Amane works. These three meant a great deal to him, even though they never missed a chance to point out how short he is for a 16-year-old. After that, his dream shifts to how he ended up in this world. It was the last day of school just before summer break, and he was about to walk into a classroom when a sudden bright flash of light hit him, and the next thing he knew he was here. He wakes up from the dream and checks his phone, thinking about how worried his friends must be right now. He then looks up at the sky and spots some glowing green shapes floating above. The voice looks them up and tells him that it is a special protective barrier that Emilia set up to keep watch over the area. He takes that in and accepts that magic is real in this world, which means he truly is in another world. He decides to check on his own situation and asks the voice what being an appraiser provisional actually means. The voice explains that it is a job assigned to him by God and carries a rarity rank of B. It comes with the appraisal ability, which lets him identify the abilities and traits of any target. However, it does not come with any combat skills, which is why it is classed as a non-combat job. Hibiki is still wrapping his head around all of this, so he just decides to go back to sleep. The next morning, Emilia wakes up and thinks back on how she saved Hibiki the day before and spent the night out here with him. Shortly after, Hibiki wakes up as well, and the two of them hit the road and head for Lowell, the nearest town. As they make their way through the forest, Emilia tells Hibiki it will take them about a day and a half to arrive. She also mentions that there are monsters in the area, but tells him not to worry because she is there to keep him safe. She is impressed that Hibiki was even able to sense them, and he tells her it is all thanks to his world map skill. Emilia is stunned to hear that he has the world map skill since it carries a rarity rank of AAA. But when Hibiki tells her he is an appraiser provisional, she does not sound very impressed and treats it like some kind of joke. Hibiki does not understand why the world map skill is such a big deal since all it does is show where he has been and whether any monsters are nearby. Emilia is floored by how he cannot see how useful that is for staying alive. Hibiki then pulls up his world map and asks if anything dangerous is close by, and it flags that a crystal horned rabbit is in the area. Emilia lights up at hearing that because crystal horned rabbits are extremely rare and can easily sell for up to 200 gold coins. She immediately grabs Hibiki and tells him to lead her straight to it. They track the crystal horned rabbit from a distance, and Emilia uses her magic to cover their sound and smell so they are harder to detect. Hibiki is blown away by this and tells Emilia she is amazing, but she tells him right back that he is the one who is amazing because of his world map skill, and that any adventurer party would be lucky to have him. Since appraisal is a non-combat job, if he ever joined a party he would just let the others handle the front line fighting while he stayed in the back and offered support. Emilia really wants to form a party with Hibiki but does not want to come across as too desperate, so she decides she will just show off her skills and let Hibiki be the one to ask her. She picks up her bow and gets ready to shoot, but Hibiki notices she has no arrow. She explains that her job is spirit archer, meaning she can shape arrows out of wind and fire them. She sends a spirit arrow straight at the rabbit, but it manages to dodge at the very last second, which leaves her stunned. Emilia figures there is no catching it now because it has an escape skill that lets it dodge attacks at high speed. But the moment Hibiki finds out that it cannot use its skills while it is in the middle of attacking, an idea comes to him. If he can get the rabbit to come at him, Emilia would have a clean shot. Emilia is not convinced such a straightforward plan would work, but Hibiki tells her not to worry because when he appraised it, he found out it is not very smart. While the rabbit is out in the open, a stone wall suddenly shoots up in front of it, startling it. It then spots Hibiki lying on a rock and takes the bait without a second thought. Just as it lunges to attack, Emilia lines up her shot and drops it instantly. Emilia is genuinely surprised it actually worked. All it took was putting up rock walls to cut off every other path and funnel it straight at Hibiki. Though it also means the rabbit saw Hibiki as completely harmless. The voice then alerts Hibiki that his skills have leveled up, which confuses him since Emilia was the one who landed the kill. Emilia explains that he used his appraisal skill throughout the whole thing and even put himself out there as bait, so he earned the level up because he played a real part in it. Meanwhile, up in heaven, the god who brought Hibiki here is pleased with how he is doing so far, but reminds himself that this is still only the tutorial, meaning Hibiki still has a very long road ahead of him. The scene then shifts to the Adventurer Guild, where a girl named Ivel has just finished registering as an adventurer. The receptionist points her toward the job board, but Ivel tells her she already has her first quest lined up. She is going to be searching for something very special. That was episode 1. Subscribe to not miss the next part and watch the next video on screen.